President Donald Trump signed an executive order today that reduces the federal government's university-recommended childhood vaccines from 18 diseases to 11 diseases and urges parents to split up combination shots over multiple doctor visits. The shots they want to split up is the MMR vaccine, the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. You usually get that in one go and one visit. They want to split it up into 3 visits now over time. Colombia has a new president. They call him El Tigre, and it's for a damn good reason. Abelardo de la Espriella, Colombia's new right-wing president, rapidly shifting the country toward a hardline militarized iron fist approach against drug trafficking.
We had the biggest data drop kind of for the whole year, and it did change their narrative of the Fed. The Fed was very hawkish going into the last meeting, basically saying that they're gonna keep rates the same or potentially increase them this year. And there was a good chance that rates were gonna get increased this year. But July job reports was bad,
horrendous.
guys.
I've never seen this much excitement in Ethereum in quite some time. Last year we had Solana being the talk of the town. This year I think it's Ethereum. And NFTs are ramping back up again. Robinhood breathed a lot of excitement into the Ethereum ecosystem. Stockbrokers has a 24K floor, and it's been holding there.
Welcome back to another episode of The Market Take, breaking down what's happening around the world in the markets and in crypto.
And if you like being informed about this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing to our channel. And if you do watch our content and you're not sure if you're subscribed, please double check. A lot goes into making these videos, and we get super motivated when we see that people are interested. So yeah, thank you.
Welcome back to another episode of The Market Take. The day is August 10th. Oh man, bro, it's 6 days until your birthday, big dog.
Yeah.
Wow. Turning 35?
No, 34.
I thought you were turning 35.
I'm younger than you.
I know, but oh wait. I'm turning 35 this year. Fuck. I thought I was already 35 for a second.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Dude, once you get into the 30s, you just lose track.
Yeah, dude. I stopped after the 30th celebration. I was like, okay.
I'm not gonna lie. It was a late night one night, and I was just laying in bed looking at the ceiling, and I gave myself a panic attack trying to figure out if I was 34 or 33. I swear to God. And like I had to like
were you like, wait, 92 to 93 to 94?
Bro, I had to like backtrace a bunch of different stuff to prove my own age. I'm an idiot.
You could have just asked ChatGPT.
I know.
but then you were like, wait, was I born in 92 or 93?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just look.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways.
Shit, what else was I going to say? Well, I mean, we were talking about biological age, though. Bro, dude, my biological age, I'm still in my late 20s. I'm good. I'm only 29, so I'm good.
Yeah,
explains why I feel only about 29.
Yeah.
Like, mentally. Like, the fact that I think I'm, like, mid-35 is, like, when I imagined mid-35s when I was in my 20s, I'm like, all right, by 35, I'm going to have... You know, I'm going to have the house that I'm going to, like, stay at with my family. I'm going to have my wife. I'm going to have my 3 kids, my 2 dogs, maybe a cat because I have a daughter and she wants a cat maybe, you know.
No.
I got Pokemon.
Yeah. We got Pokemon. Got crypto. We got stocks. But we're not linemen in Colorado. Shout out to Zane. Anyways,
wait, what the fuck?
What?
Why did Blaster just like make my mind just spontaneously combust for a second? It's like today's Monday and there's 5 more days for Friday. Then why is Friday August 14th? Oh man. That one's like one of those, wait, what? And then you go look at the calendar, you're like, oh. I might have a bit of the tism. But you know what? That gets into our first topic about vaccines and tism.
This is interesting. I'm perplexed on this.
I was trying, you know what? I think that's what's messed up about today's age is you get one news line, you're like, okay, what's the conspiracy? Like, what's the secret play behind it? Like what's the root cause?
Yeah.
Someone could be like, here's a cure to cancer. I'll be like, wait a minute. What's in that cure? Is there a COVID vaccine in that cure? I don't trust this cure. Like, that's how messed up it is right now. You can't trust anything without thinking, like, what's the real play?
It's so messed up that people think space is fake.
Oh, you still think the moon is real? It's just buddy, that's a 3D hologram, and Tupac's still alive.
Yeah, I mean,
and the Earth is flat. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. But guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, President Donald Trump signed an executive order today that reduces the federal government's universally recommended childhood vaccines from 18 diseases to 11 diseases. And urges parents to split up combination shots over multiple doctor visits. The shots they want to split up is the MMR vaccine, the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. You usually get that in one go and one visit.
Right.
They want to split it up into 3 visits now over time. Now, listen.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Say it.
I would say, did you see why they want to do that?
What? No, I didn't see why.
Well, that's why I brought up the TISM thing.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like RFK and Trump's big thing with vaccines was always a link to autism.
Right, but what they're saying is specifically this one, the MMR, which they gave you the 3 vaccines in one, that one is supposed to cause autism. And it's weird that they're bringing this up, though, because there has been so many studies studying this to actually prove it as bunk.
Yeah.
In 1988 or 1998, 1998, there was a study by this doctor who put it out, said that this could cause autism. It was later then debunked. He lost his medical license. And basically all of the studies for this, none of it links it to autism. And it's kind of one of those, well, we think it does, so we're going to change it.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know the medical field, so I can't go into the vaccine and see what it possibly could. But from all the research that I've done and from all the studies that are out there, they're saying that there's no correlation that this vaccine can cause autism.
No, I agree with that. And guys, listen, here's where I'm at with vaccines, okay? And listen, if it's like a brand new vaccine that just comes out with little to no human trials, like case in point the COVID vaccine, then yeah, I'm skeptical. Yeah, there's probably going to be some side effects that are not ideal that are going to happen. But if it's something that's been around for literally a century, right, or longer, right, polio or whatever, these have, they've gone through the strict regimen that vaccines normally have to go through, and that's like thousands of human trials and right, years and years and years and years of testing. This is how we've gotten to points of eradication of certain diseases that you don't want to come back. Now, during the anti-vax movement that we've had the past couple of years, you've seen some of these quote unquote archaic diseases come back, right? Like you've seen measles outbreaks come and happen. I've had coworkers get measles. I've had, you saw the measles outbreak at Disney World a few years back. And, this is stuff that you don't can you imagine if polio came back?
Oh, yeah.
It'd
be terrible.
Smallpox, too. All these diseases are scientifically eradicated. And for a good reason. These are devastating illnesses, man. But yeah,
they did. I'm sure you guys saw this, but you guys know back in 2021 when the COVID vaccine came out, they changed the actual definition of a vaccine.
Oh,
so they could push out the COVID vaccine.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying they've changed them now because this is applying to the already existing 17, 18 vaccines that are out there.
Yeah.
But in September of 2021, they changed the definition of what a vaccine is so they could push out the COVID vaccines.
Yeah.
It was something about how it stimulates the body. But I know for a fact that they changed the definition of what a vaccine is in 2021.
And some things to notate too, and I don't know exactly how this executive order is enforced really, because I'm reading that it can't rewrite school mandates, and it can't override CDC authority, the AG, the Attorney General, has directive to challenge all of that if schools and other areas don't comply. And this is supposed to be not just something in the United States, but kind of worldwide for everyone to follow.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of the EU gives out way less vaccines to their kids than we do.
Do they?
Yeah. It's like I think their mandatory list is 10 or 11
Yeah.
versus ours.
I could see that. I personally don't know, but I guess they're like supposed to be on some kind of like similar page. Just obviously because there's travel, there's immigration, there's this and that. Especially if you come to the United States as an immigrant, you have to get certain vaccines. But yeah, and vice versa. But yeah, so you got that going on, and it's definitely current. Causing a stir.
Yeah.
In the headlines.
Yeah. Well, one of the other reasons too is if they do split up those shots, that's more visits to the doctor's offices. So I know there was some concern if insurance was going to cover those shots.
Yeah.
Or also, let's say you need 10, 11 mandatory shots, but then if you want to, like, let's say, admit your child to school and they do need all 17 or 18 vaccines, then comes a question, because the other 7 vaccines are considered not mandatory, then maybe insurance won't cover those and you might have to come out of pocket. But
another concern too is eroding herd immunity too. Right. Guys, what's herd immunity? Say you have a group of people, right? Like a bunch of people. All of them are vaccinated except for one. There's one person in the middle of this circle of people. That person that's not vaccinated, whether it be because of religious reasons or whatever the case may be, kind of take like the people that are vaccinated kind of put that load on their back for the person that's not vaccinated and gives them natural immunity because everyone around them is already vaccinated. So the chances of them likely getting one of these, diseases that you get your vaccination for are very, very, very low. Now, if you start, winding down what you're getting vaccinated for and starting to time it out more, that leaves more room for exposure, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I honestly don't see the reason of splitting up the MMR vaccine into separate visits if they're still going to get it. Like, what, are you not going to get autism? Because you spread the shot out for a year.
The only thing I can see is some financial benefit play that spreading it out makes it more lucrative for whoever the proper pockets are aligned to.
It's probably for big insurance rackets that Trump's helping them out for, putting more money in their pocket.
Yep.
You know? But yeah. Next topic, man. Huge earthquake. I want to talk about Colombia quite a bit this segment, man. I mean, they just had a massive earthquake. Honestly, worse than the one in Venezuela. They had a 7.4 magnitude earthquake with death toll that's climbing above 100 people. Now, this earthquake was supposedly felt throughout all of Colombia, even spread to parts of Ecuador. Eduardo, did you feel the earthquake at all? I'm kind of dumb. I'm looking.
What's up? Sorry. I thought you were asking him a question.
I'm also trying to talk to you directly. Anyways, guys. Yeah, Colombia just had a massive earthquake, 7.4 magnitude on the Richter scale. Over 100 people are dead. Buildings collapsed. High rises collapsed. Quite terrible. It fell throughout the whole country.
I didn't realize how bad it was until I saw the videos earlier.
Yeah,
it was bad.
Pretty nasty.
I saw the one where there was like a kind of this like chain link of people just kind of holding on to each other, swaying like in the middle of the road, because the two buildings on the opposite sides of them were literally just both like collapsing. It was kind of crazy to watch. So
yeah. Dude, there's so many earthquakes in Central America. Well,
All those big faults.
Yeah, man, just like collapsing. But another thing with Colombia, I don't know if you know, but Colombia has a new president, right?
El Tigre.
They call him El Tigre, and it's for a damn good reason.
Why?
All right. I'm going to butcher his name. Ebelardo de la Esperea, Colombia's new right-wing president, was sworn in on August 7th and is rapidly shifting the country toward a hardline militarized iron fist approach against drug trafficking.
Yep.
Now, guys, this guy, so obviously Colombia just recently had their election. Their previous president's term ended, and when he re-ran, he lost to this guy, to this new guy. Their previous president was very left-wing. Okay,
right.
He had this kind of like peace deal with the cartels in Colombia, where where it was like a peacetime between like civilians and the cartels, and like they came to an agreement where just don't mess with each other, right? However, this new president is not putting up with any of that shit, and his goal is to completely eradicate drug trafficking in Colombia, and especially the coca distribution. Now, I was watching multiple videos on social media of this going down, and holy shit, man,
they're doing some crazy stuff too,
bro. These raids are insane. Like they're coming in they're coming in the helicopters, guns blazing right away, like miniguns, machine guns, just like not even asking questions, bro. Just straight up shooting first, demolishing. Like I don't know about demolishing, but like they're striking these plants hard. They're scorching the crops on all the cocoa plants on fire.
Not only that, dude, they're spraying them with like ridiculous amounts of glyphosate, which they banned in 2015, and now they're gonna spray all the fields, which, if you guys don't know, it's a carcinogenic chemical, which means it's a cancer-causing chemical, and that's going to be sprayed into the soil, into basically all over the jungle. Now, what's going to happen when all that rainwater comes down? Because if you guys haven't been to Colombia, it rains, and it rains heavy. So when all that water is trickling down into the soil, and then all that water goes down into the bases. So if you guys haven't been to Medellin before, you basically have to drive up a huge like mountain, and then you drive down into the city. So all around you is the mountains, and that's where kind of all the shit happens. So if they're spraying all that into the mountains every time,
it rains, and then it goes into the city.
Right. So it's literally like the worst scenario possible, because everything goes down into kind of like a sink trap, basically. All the water goes down. What's so funny? I'm
not laughing.
Oh shit! I thought I saw you smiling. I don't know if someone wrote something in the chat, but yeah, it's. I mean, I get why they're doing it, but damn, like, there's not a better way to do it. Like, cancer-causing chemical, just gonna spray the whole city with it, nonstop. It's gonna go down into all the drinking water. There's got to be a better way. What's funny is they were comparing that last guy that was in office, Petro, very similar to like Biden, and they're comparing El Tigre to Trump, which is why they kind of get along. It's basically like,
well, dude, he's an ally of Trump too. Like they're actually, I think they're actually like friends.
Trump like publicly like endorsed them, and then people that are on this on El Tigre side are considered kind of like the MAGAs of like Colombia. It's more of like the upper middle class to the rich folks who are just tired of the soft like leftist regime type. Yeah. So it's very interesting to see. Blast, what's your take on this, big dog?
Yeah, Blast, you're from Colombia. What do you think about this?
And the other thing too that El Tigre is going after too right now is Colombia is flooded right now with Venezuelan refugees, over like 3 million of them right now. So they're trying to get very aggressive with the immigration there. Yeah,
you're going to see a lot more boat strikes now too.
Yeah,
with no pushback now.
Oh, and then this guy also, it's like he fell in love with what they did in El Salvador. You know, El Salvador was the was the most dangerous city in the Western Hemisphere. Now it's like in the top 5 in terms of safety.
It's because they're going to build, because El Salvador just recently built this mega prison. They're going to start building this mega prison in Colombia too.
Right.
Listen, they're cleaning up the place. I think I personally think cartels, personally have ran rampant for quite some time now. Mm-hmm. But this is a byproduct of which administration is in power at the time, like Blast is talking about in the chat, going in circles. It all depends on who's in the administration. Like, who knows? In 4 years, Colombia could be very left again, or it could stay right, and vice versa. Just like here in the United States, like these things come in cycles. Jesus,
Eduardo.
Elections. Moloch or
that was dark. But I feel like you look in the window of the Moloch and you still see the ball. Dun dun dun.
Yeah. I mean, what did Trump do? Trump played on emotions too, and then just completely did not do anything.
I mean, he kind of gave the same playbook as this guy. I'm gonna come clean house, like this shit that way. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and then
they'll do a little charade in the beginning, and then
just because 2 people with purple hair got shot, they stopped deportations. What? Anyway. Who else is beefing? Jake Paul is beefing with Dana White.
I like this, actually.
I like this too, bro. Because he keeps growing it, bro. He keeps growing it. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, Jake Paul had a promotion. It was called MVP Promotions. It was his boxing league, the one that he kept going live on air, basically saying, Dana White doesn't pay his fighters much. That's why I pay my boxers X amount. They just merged with PFL, which is another big fighting league. And for any old school fight fans, PFL actually bought Bellator way back. So
I was going to ask you, what happened to Bellator?
Yeah, they got bought up by PFL. There's another big player. I'm sure you guys have been seeing RAF, right? That's where Arman was wrestling, Kamzat was wrestling. It's funny to see, ever since Jake Paul kind of started this new promotion, you saw 3-4 other promotions kind of just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because it was really UFC, and then for the hardcore fight fans that knew one, we watched one.
Can I tell you why I like this before you go on?
Yeah, of course.
I like this because of this, man. Look, at the end of the day, listen, I feel like UFC is the most premier brand, obviously.
For sure.
But when competition like this comes in, I think it's better for the fighters as a whole, because obviously when competition like this comes in, it's going to force the UFC to pay a little bit better. It's going to force them to pay the fighters a little bit better, because I mean, dude, Jake's going to come in and start flashing a bag in all these fighters' faces. All these headliner fighters in all these guys' faces.
I know, but I don't know, dude. It could be... All right, think about it like this, right? This is kind of how I see it. Okay, I'm a fighter in the UFC. Let's say off of my fights this year, I'll make $100K, but I have the exposure of the UFC. Or I'll go be a fighter in the MVP league and I'll make $150. I'll make 50% more. But I'll have the exposure of this new fight league. Mm-hmm. Now, where you make up the $50K difference is how much exposure are you getting in the UFC that sponsorship money could come in, or more exposure money could come in, versus how much exposure this new fight league is getting. Now, I'm not saying Jake can't get attention. He's one of the best to do it. But are you going to get enough attention as the UFC? Where, I don't know. Because these big fighters like Conor, Khabib, who have some of the highest pay-per-view record payouts, yeah, that's how they got a big chunk of their money, but they got way more money from exposure, from sponsorships, and future business deals because of the UFC.
Yeah.
So I think there's kind of that give and take, but what you said for sure, competition coming into the market means that not only do you have to make your product better for your customers, you also have to make the product better for your entertainers, because your entertainers are the ones that are bringing in the customers. So,
well, yeah, I mean, look at that. Bro, I mean, yeah, but well, for example, right? Take a look at the. I guess the NFL would be a bad example with like all the different teams and everything. But like, what's it? You know, never mind. But what I'm trying to say is, but yeah, I feel like it's gonna, you know, have the fighters get paid more, and it's gonna reduce the cost for the viewer, and also a better product, at a cheaper price.
I mean, like let's look at this again to like go through that business model, right? So the UFC is known for giving fighters 15 to 20% of revenue share. The PFL gives their fighters 50% of revenue share. But who in this chat until before today had no idea what the PFL was? Who in this chat knows what the UFC is?
I didn't. Right.
But
would you know what it was if Khabib went over there to fight?
Yeah, but everybody knows Khabib, my boy.
Like, that's my point.
I know, but here's the other thing. You can't afford to hire a Khabib if you're giving all your fighters 50% revenue share. That's the other thing, bro. Because you can't tell me I'm wrong, because these main acts or huge acts are going to want more money. So that's where the business dynamics come in play. That's why you can't knock out Dana White. You can't knock out the UFC. They've been in the game the longest.
I'm not knocking them. I'm sure Dana White's got a plan.
This is like you know, a lot of the social media platforms, when they first came out, like monetized the shit out of you. You're like, oh my god, I'm only making content for this platform, and then once the platform has enough customers, viewers, then they drop that down dramatically. So maybe PFL will give you like, dude, we'll give you 50% of whatever the fuck you bring in the first 2-3 years, whatever. Then watch as costs go up, as star costs go up, then they're gonna have to change up the business model, bro.
I mean, I guess a good example of this is DJs and nightclubs. You know, when a new club opens and they need big DJs that already have residencies at other existing nightclubs, they're paying a bigger bag for them.
Oh yeah,
and that's all for a risk.
For the exposure.
And in hopes of, like, you know, of this being a thing that lasts a little bit, you know.
But you know what? We'll see, man. You know, Jake Paul is a master of his craft. There's very, very few to do it like him. Whatever you say, honestly, you can't hate on the kid. If you're a hater, then you just hate on success. And you know, PFL has been around for a long time, but at the end of the day, UFC is still a big Daddy Mac. So I know Dana kind of laughed it off, but you can't laugh off the big voices like that, because the big voices, that's how Trump got into office, is because of the influencers, basically.
Bro, they have a Netflix partnership right off the bat.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it definitely is not something to sneeze at. I think it's going to be exciting to see, to be honest.
And then, like off topic, but another company that Jake Paul is involved with, Anti-Fund, they just went public. And, you know, I know MVP Promotions isn't public yet, but the guys that run Anti-Fund are smart as hell. Jeffrey Wu, a few other guys. Those guys are all really smart. You know, TKO, the UFC stock is public. I wouldn't be surprised if things keep going well for Jake Paul, and then he makes this his second public company.
Do you know he's a pretty sizable investor in Palantir? I mean, not Palantir, Anduril.
Who?
Jake Paul.
Through Anti-Fund, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you know that Anti-Fund outperformed almost all of Wall Street last year with their AI and data-driven investments? Jake Paul's making a fucking bag on the side. A big bag in many ways. If you guys don't know what Anti-Fund is, you guys should look it up. It's ran by Jeffrey Wu.
Yeah.
Some other stuff going down, huh? You guys have heard the Hunger Games. You guys know what the War Games are? Huh?
Guys, tensions are, you know, well...
You know what a Hong Kong is?
Tensions are always flaring up between Taiwan and China, guys, but they're doing their annual War Games, basically military exercises to flex on each other. And also, like, kind of just to, like, test test the perseverance of their own country, see how they would react during a wartime environment. And one of the things that they did, and it's new that they did this actually, but this also kind of tells me maybe they're preparing for something that's pretty inevitable, or it's getting closer to that. But they throttled everyone's mobile data, meaning basically made their phones super slow, barely any connectivity in Taiwan. They did this on purpose to see how their citizens would react during times of little to no communication. See if they would panic, they would do this, do that, freak out, raid places or take it to the streets or whatever the case may be. And the reason why they did that is because if they do ever get into a wartime environment with China, you could bet your ass that either side are going to EMP attack each other or try to knock out their communications right off the bat. Usually with big developed countries, like that's the first thing you want to target right away is communications. So you have that going on,
and the reason why I said the Hong Kong, if I'm butchering it wrong, I apologize, but that's what it's called. They've been doing this for over 40 years, every year. But just like Justin said, this year is way different because normally it's just anyone that's involved with the military is involved with this, and they do like a big parade and they kind of show off what they got. They show off their tech. They show off what they can do, and just to show that the military is always ready. But just like Justin said, this year is the biggest one they've ever done before. They got all the civilians involved, and they just straight jammed up all their cell phones, all their internet. What's going on in Russia and Ukraine right now? You're lucky to get Wi-Fi. If you're on like cell phone service, you don't get in it because they're jamming everything because of drones. So I think you can't just go out on your phone and just like go on the Safari or even make a call because your phone on the streets is jammed. So I'm not sure when the last time you guys kind of got around without using your phone or just had a day without your phone, but it actually becomes pretty difficult. From banking, money, anything. It becomes really, really, really hard without technology, which is kind of scary if you actually think about it. And what's even more scary is the fact that if we really think about this, guys, Taiwan has been preparing for a potential China invasion for over 40 years. We talk about how bad the U.S. sometimes is, but we really don't talk about how good we have it here.
Yeah.
Like the shit that we don't have to deal with that all these other countries have to deal with, it's pretty fucking crazy.
Dude, at any given moment, like their life could change. A lot of these countries, like they could be free one day and literally in a communist regime the next day. But this is actually a good transition to Starlink.
Yeah.
Getting into the cell phone game, and not by giving you phones, but providing cellular data through their satellites. I need this to happen because
I got a bone to pick.
Because
and I know you do too.
Yeah.
I know, dude. I've been waiting for this topic because I can't wait to fucking ream T-Mobile.
Okay, let me read this little bit real quick, and then you get into it. Starlink is preparing to challenge T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T with a rival cellular service expected by late 2027. Starlink Mobile plans to cover the entire planet by the end of 2028, including polar regions, with life-saving data services arriving by Q3 2027 and voice shortly after. The V2 satellites will deliver 5G speeds from space with 100x the data density of today's generation.
So I got to see how good this tech exactly is, but I will say this. Cell towers can be bombed. Cell towers can be jammed. Cell towers can be captured by enemy forces. Satellites in space, it's going to be kind of hard to knock out a satellite in space. So I get that.
Before you get into it too, Elon made a good point about this, right?
Yeah.
Especially with fiber optic cords in the ground and cellular towers, like you're saying, and how cords can be cut, and how cords in the past have gotten cut. I forgot there was this big region where they cut a cord of fiber optic and cut off communications completely. The Starlink satellites in space, how they connect to each other is by red lasers, or these certain type of lasers with each other, and that's how they connect to each other. So he basically said they can never go down. no matter like how hard
Yeah.
you try. You could like knock one out, and then the other one just relays with the other one.
Oh, so it's like self-cleansing in a way.
Yeah.
But what happened if one like falls down and hits another one? Then two of them just got to.
Dude, there's like thousands. There's gonna be thousands of them up there.
Manyon, why do you care what ethnicity I am, bruh?
Anyways, go on to what you're saying.
I'm Armenian, born in Russia.
That's a
so
stupid question to answer.
no, I was saying, I just want to know who T-Mobile think they are. Like, where do they get off? Like, who's the new CEO of T-Mobile?
Don't get me fucking
Where
started.
do you fucking get off?
Don't even get me fucking started with that.
Guys, imagine one day, out of the blue, you've been with your carrier for 10 years, you don't owe any money on your phone, you're just seeing your bill every day, the same amount, every month, the same amount's coming out, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, whoop, your bill just went up $5. $5 is $5. So I call him, I'm like, what's going on with my bill here? I didn't change anything. Am I getting more texts a month? Am I getting faster speeds? They're like, nah, we just raised prices. I'm like, oh.
That's not what I signed for.
I'm like, did I sign for this? I'm like, did you guys tell me? Did you guys email me? Did you guys call me, text me? They're like, we emailed you. I'm like, show me that email. Show it to me. Show it to me.
Show it to me.
Re-forward it to me if you sent it to me. And I'll hang up right now and you'll never hear from me again. They're like, we can't do that. I'm like, because you guys didn't tell me shit. Then
go on.
3 months later, my bill that was $107 a month went up to $112. I was like, whoa, $112. What the fuck? You know how much my bill was last month?
How much?
$118.
Whoa.
They raised it $6 more.
Whoa.
So I'm like, whoa. And then it told me that I have some T-Mobile Essentials plan. I'm like, Essentials plan?
Essentials.
First of all, I have a T-Mobile One plan. What is this Essentials plan? Oh, I guess they wanted to delete my plan and they raised it up another $6 and didn't tell me. So they raised my bill like 10% in 1 month. In like 1 year. My bill went up $11.
They thought you were an easy lick. That's what they thought.
Like, I don't get it.
Dude, they're always coming out with these stupid new plans. And listen, speaking of Starlink satellites, I don't know if you guys noticed, but T-Mobile had a pretty big outage the other day or 2 weeks ago. And boy, oh boy, did they hear it from me. I decided to wanting to upgrade my phone during an outage. And guess what?
You wanted a miracle to happen.
I was on hold for 5 hours. I couldn't believe how I was treated. Just trying to upgrade my phone.
Just trying to.
I even went into the store. I had to wait an hour in line.
You know what bugs me about the stores? It's why do you even have the stores anymore? 90% of the stores you go to, we actually can't handle that in store. Call customer service. MF for the entire reason that I drove to this store was to talk to a human and not some gupti across the fucking ocean that can't understand a goddamn fucking word that I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping it a buck.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I need Google to come in and take over the fiber optic game.
If I hear one more time, so sorry for the inconvenience, and you do nothing to help my inconvenience, go to hell.
Yeah. Okay? I need Google Fiber to come in here and knock out Cox Internet and that piece of shit Quantum Fiber Internet. Get him out of here. I need another power company in Las Vegas besides Envy Energy.
Oh my! What a racket that was!
Because the bullshit I'm cursing. The bullshit they're on is next level. Like, these guys are the biggest pieces of fucking shit I've ever came across.
Everyone else that's in Vegas, there's about 4 people in the chat. Our power bill went up 48% from June to July for peak season bullshit. What is that?
I also need another cellular data provider.
Well, we got Starlink coming. We got Google Internet coming.
Yeah.
and we're just feeding the machine still.
Yeah, these three big three cellular companies need to get knocked out. Anyways,
yeah, let's go on to the stock market. That was a lot of world news. I think we're just angry. The people are getting screwed over all the time,
dude.
Speaking of people getting screwed over,
so screwed lately. Like it's like in your face now. It's like so much. Like before, it was like whatever, you know.
Yeah, and they don't even care, bro. They're like, what are you gonna do about it? Epstein got away, so we're just gonna charge you $6 more, and we're gonna get away with it too.
Spectrum stores are awesome. What's Spectrum? What's that? Is that internet?
Like on the Spectrum? I gotta shut the fuck up. Spectrum, I don't know.
Ed said, "Don't get me started with T-Mobile, man. Boy, did I let him have it on the phone the other day. We actually talked about it last market take. I don't want to talk about it again. Yeah. It's just gonna.
Yeah.
You know, basically, I'm getting the new iPhone for free.
At least you got that. Well, I attached you to the stock portion of the show on that other document I made. But
okay,
guys, let's segue into the last bit of world news and stock news, because the last bit of world news has a lot to deal with the stock market and the crypto market. So Friday, August 7th, guys, we had the biggest data drop kind of for the whole year. And it did change their narrative of the Fed. If you guys remember, the Fed was very hawkish going into the last meeting, basically saying that they're going to keep rates the same or potentially increase them this year. And there was a good chance that rates were going to get increased this year. But the July job reports was bad,
horrendous.
Guys. So here's how bad it was. They were expecting to add 83,000 jobs in July. They lost 23,000 jobs. So they missed their estimate by 100,000 jobs. This was the first monthly decline since COVID, guys. That bad. So the May revisions, guys, they were supposed to be like 180 plus thousand jobs, but it got cut down to 130. In June, there was supposed to be 90,000 jobs added. It got cut down to 57. And now they're saying that 83,000 jobs are supposed to be added, lost 23,000 jobs. Now, I will say these numbers are a little bit skewed, and we do need to keep this in mind. 264,000 people have also left the workforce, meaning they've retired or they're just all out. But labor force participation has dropped down 61%. Besides COVID, it hasn't been this bad since 1976. What does labor force participation mean? We need to think about this in a much global picture and realize how actually scary this is. So what that means is that people are not actively looking for jobs, or they gave up looking for jobs. That's what labor force participation means. It fell down to 61%, guys. It's been the lowest since COVID, meaning no one was really looking for jobs in COVID. And in 1976, people were just not looking for jobs because they're so disengaged with the economy, with trying to find a job, that they just kind of gave up, and they're leaning on unemployment. They're leaning on food stamps and government aid. And I get it, guys. If you looked at the people abusing government aid, they're getting like 80, 90K in government aid and food and schooling and shelter, this and that. It's so abusive. And you got people bragging on social media how they're abusing the aid. So where did a lot of these job losses come from? Local government education.
Wow.
That was the biggest hit is our education.
You know, I also want to say this too, and obviously this is not a metric, but I feel like this is a contributor to this, is that this new generation is I don't even want to call it entrepreneurial, so to speak, and I don't think these are metrics that are actually measured, but everyone wants to be a content creator. Everybody wants to make internet money. Everybody wants to trade meme coins. There's all these quick dopamine hits on making a quick big bag, whether it be Pokemon cards, whatever, collectibles, this and that, reselling, that they actually, the thought of having a traditional 9 to 5 doesn't enter their brain at all. And that's like, to me, that's like a big. I
agree with that. And when we look at what one of the number one voted professions is in the U.S. versus Asia, it's influencer, versus in Asia, it's engineer.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other topic. The other reason is, though, why would you go into a job if you're living in the USA, getting minimum wage or getting $8 or $9 or even $10 an hour in the US, $11, $12 an hour? Why would you take any of those jobs if US government aid can pay you more than that and you don't have to fucking work?
True.
So it's all these jobs that, you know, the next biggest hit was restaurant and bars, retail, and actually the financial sector. You know what profession gained the most jobs and actually only gained jobs was healthcare. More people are getting fucking sick. That's what that means. And who fills in all those low-level jobs? It's the illegal immigrants. It's the violent migrants that have came over that can get hired for the restaurant and bar positions, that can get paid cash, that can get paid under the table. The lower class to lower middle class to middle class is getting squeezed out more than ever before.
Yeah.
So why did this change for the Fed? It's like one of those things where bad news is good for the market. Just like when you see these big tech companies lay off a lot of employees, it's good for the stock. It's not good for the community and for the population as a whole. Well, because the job report was so bad, Fed basically said, all right, we're probably not going to raise interest rates. We might even drop rates more. Yeah. Because if they do raise interest rates, it's only going to make the jobs even harder. Business people are going to spend less. They're going to borrow less. It slows down the economy completely. So
this is like what we said about a year, maybe a year and a half ago. And it's literally coming into fruition right now. The only way that interest rates are going to drop is if the unemployment rate is high. Yeah. Like that's how this happens. That's how inflation slows down. You need a high unemployment rate because you can't feed that beast anymore.
Which means we go into a economic crisis also.
A recession, yeah.
Something has to happen, bro. Something has to break.
We're bursting at the fucking seams.
Well, here's the next domino. On Wednesday, we got CPI. So if this comes in hot, despite all these new tariffs, not going to be good. If CPI calms down, that's better ammo for the bulls or for the doves, as they say now. But we'll see, man. And like I said, it's one of those things where bad news is quote unquote good, but it's really only good for the market and the market participants because the S&P 500 hit all-time highs.
SpaceX.
But the average person is struggling more than ever before. There's more debt than ever before, than COVID. The country's in the worst debt before. We are in the worst economic position than we've been, I honestly think, since ever before. But yeah, S&P 500 hit all-time highs because of the SpaceX Nvidia deal. You guys probably saw SpaceX pump 30% from the lows. It's back to IPO prices now. Nvidia pumped up 10%. Basically what happened was Elon Musk announced that on August 4th, just the day after we did the last market take, that SpaceX is going to exclusively buy Nvidia chips for his entire AI build out during the company's earning call. Elon said that, and that's why Nvidia ran. You saw SpaceX run. Tesla's been doing a bit better. Still very bearish though on the daily overall on SpaceX and Tesla, but we saw that move. The reason why Musk wanted to partner up with NVIDIA is they think that the Vera Rubin architecture, which is the newest architecture that NVIDIA made, they think that it's going to be the best one out there. So that definitely made them run, and that made the S&P 500 run. And just so you guys know, right, we do have Nvidia reporting earnings Wednesday, August 26th, guys. It is the biggest company now in the entire market. In a week from now, 2 weeks from now, you'll already start to see all the memes come out of the entire weight of the market is on the back of Nvidia. The entire weight on the market is on the back of the Nvidia CEO, and you'll start to see all those memes happen soon. But if Nvidia unwinds, it might be bad. I don't think the AI super cycle is over, dude. Everything tanked 20, 30, 40, 50% and got bought back up so quick that I don't think it's over, bro. And I think AI might run a bit more. It's crypto. I'm a little worried about because of what's happening with the Clarity Act. So we might still have to wait on crypto. But you guys remember when we talked about situational awareness going bankrupt last week and Ken Griffin's callback? Ken Griffin is already up like 10 billion plus in a week, bro.
Man, that's insane.
Because Nvidia pumped up 10%, CoreWeave pumped up 26%, Nebius pumped up a lot, Cerberus pumped up like 30%. The rebound is crazy, and this guy lost his fund, and next thing you know, it's right back to where it was. It's like he literally sold it at the bottom.
You know, this guy rented out of Four Seasons in Florida during COVID to make sure no one stopped trading in Citadel.
Ken Griffin?
Yeah.
Beast.
He flew all of his employees out there. They couldn't leave their rooms. Like, he just rented out they couldn't leave that hotel.
Yeah, that'd be sick, dude.
And it was just like for that whole period of COVID, dude. Like,
I'd be at the spa all day.
Yeah, bro. They were just trading the whole. Dude, that was sick. But yeah.
Yeah. Guys, let's get into crypto. That's really the big stuff for stock market is just the move that happened with SpaceX and Nvidia. And the biggest news is the Nvidia earnings that is at the end of the month, the biggest company in the world, the biggest market cap in the world. If there's a strong beat, you can definitely bet that SpaceX might rally. A lot of the other semiconductors will rally. The semiconductors and the data, the memory, all those stocks are in a very interesting point. That's why I think that this rally could potentially not be over because everything did fall pretty bad. If you go back and look at Meta, you go back and look at Microsoft, you go back and look at Google, you go back and look at SanDisk even, they all did go crazy, but they all did dump 30% plus. And when you have corrections like that on these big, powerful winner names, they get bought back quick and they bounce back quick. So if we miss the bounce on those names, then the market can definitely keep rallying. But so what I was saying about the Clarity Act was that, you know, we talked about the Clarity Act going to Senate again on July 20th. The Clarity Act, again, will be going to Senate September 15th. Mm-hmm. But just because it goes to Senate does not mean that it gets brought to the floor, which means where they actually do the voting. And right now, they have an even worse chance of getting the Clarity Act passed than they did back in July. So the prediction markets on like Kalshi and Polymarket are saying that there's a 21% chance that the Clarity Act passes in September. And earlier in the summer, in mid-July, it was 46% chance. In early summer, in June, it was a 62% chance. So that all goes back into the pattern that we've been talking about with the crypto market, where the crypto market rallies for 1,000 to 1,100 days, and then it's bearish for 300 to 400 days. We talked about how the average bearish cycle, if you added them all, was 383 days. If you take 383 days from when the Bitcoin market started to correct, it puts us into middle of November, which, like we were talking about in the other episode too that we did, that the Senate is only in office in September and October for like a total of about 10 working days, because they're off in the beginning of September and then they're off towards the end of September into October. So I don't think that we're going to see this pass. We could see another flush on the crypto market if Bitcoin does not hold 61K. If Ethereum does not hold 1850, both assets will flush. Where the bear market gets very aggressive, and you guys need to pay attention to these levels. They're very, very, very important. Bitcoin under 58K will be very bad. Ethereum under 1640 will be very bad. But you should start being very cautious at Bitcoin under 61K and Ethereum under 1750. Those are your caution levels. And then, like I said, under 58K and under 1640, very, very bad for Ethereum. And we'll probably go into much lower lows if we break those levels, guys.
Wow. Speaking of Ethereum, while these big alts and the price action of Ethereum and Bitcoin might not be exciting right now, I'll tell you what is exciting. I've never seen this much excitement in Ethereum in quite some time. Last year we had Solana being the talk of the town. This year I think it's Ethereum. And NFTs are ramping back up again, believe it or not.
I saw Gary Vaynerchuk on a podcast with Logan Paul, and, they were talking about, NFTs, and then Gary's like, I've been right about every freaking trend so far, from TikTok to TikTok Shop, Instagram, yada, yada, making content, this and that. He goes, look at the volume on Ethereum for NFTs. It's like $750 million a day or some shit, right?
I mean, not a day, but like a month, which is still
a month.
Which is still a lot, right? $750 million in volume a month on NFTs.
Yeah.
Especially with Robinhood coming in. Dude, Robinhood breathe a lot of excitement into the Ethereum ecosystem, to be honest. Bro, that NFT collection on Robinhood chain, Stonk Brokers, has a 24K floor, and it's been holding there. Last week it was $1,000. But I mean, and then you have like a handful of like meme coins and altcoins that are just, that people are super excited for. Real world assets are now another like big talk of are back in the conversation. We've covered RWAs a lot in the past, right? And they're more amplified than ever, especially with Robinhood chain, because who's Robinhood, right? They're going to be one of the premier platforms for RWAs, and that's by default, So and this is all built on Ethereum, and then you have Uniswap, right? You got Uniswap built that's gotten to the Launchpad space. The thing about Uniswap, guys, is it's the market maker for pretty much for a lot of Ethereum platforms, right? Like you do, like Robinhood chain does all their swapping through Uniswap. It's not just a Launchpad, and when I'm talking about Launchpad, I'm talking about a coin Launchpad. Think of other coin Launchpads, guys. Pump.fun, right? But what does Uniswap have that Pump.fun doesn't?
What?
It's not gonna have any fees. It's got like its own ecosystem. Like it has a lot more capabilities because. Here, I'll read it off right here. I wrote this down. Yeah. So Uniswap launched Pools.trade yesterday, its own token launch platform built on Robinhood chain and powered by its V4 protocol. For those unfamiliar, token launchpads are the platforms that let anyone spin up and launch a new token in minutes. It's the machinery behind the meme coin boom that Pump.fun built into a billion-dollar business on Solana, and that drove Robinhood's chain's frenzies this summer. Now, the biggest now the rollout was fairly chaotic. Sorry, let me skip through that. But here's like the differentiators between like Pool.trade, which is Uniswap's launch, Uniswap's coin launch pad versus Pump.fun, right? It charges no launch pad fee. Every launch comes with permanently locked liquidity, and the 0.25% LP fee auto compounds back into the locked pool rather than going to the Uniswap team. It's split 20% to the token creator and 80% into the liquidity mechanism. So essentially none, like when people launch tokens, none of this is going back into Uniswap. But I wanted to read this part out. The power from Uniswap already has a default exchange of Robinhood pools integrate and create. Frick, I just missed it. Yeah, sorry, I missed it, but like,
What were you trying to read off?
it was basically like Uniswap's Launchpad, dude, I'm twisting my tongue on it. I'm having a brain fart.
All right, well,
Yeah,
that was our last topic anyway.
yeah. But anyways, 0 fees. It's awesome.
Tight.
Yeah.
What happened with Robinhood Chain? Are they still going on with that platform, with that? I know you're talking about the Uniswap Launchpad, but weren't we talking about Robinhood potentially going away with their Launchpad?
Robinhood doesn't have a launchpad or token launchpad.
I thought they launched one
No,
on their Robinhood chain.
you could wait. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, obviously they have a launchpad, but like, you could create a token through Uniswap on Robinhood chain. But
All right, guys. Well,
Yeah.
that's what we got for you on this week's market take.
fuck Uniswap. I mean,
Fody needed a nap real quick.
Yeah.
But that was me the other week. Guys, Q3 has been a slow one, but keep sharpening those tools, because if the market continues its 12-year cycle that's been on point for 12 years now, market should get hot around October, November. My bet's going to be November. Maybe we get lucky, it's in October. Keep an eye out for Nvidia earnings and how that performs. Definitely will take the market with it if it's bad or good. So pros and cons there. Besides that, that is all. That's all we got for you guys. We'll see you guys
I just remember what I was gonna say.
on the. Do you want to spit it out?
Nah,
Okay,
it's not important anymore. But
it's all right, buddy.
I was just gonna say the reason why Uniswap could afford to have no fees on a launchpad is because they earn fees through different mechanisms, like bridging and stuff like that, and swapping, and so it's definitely stiff competition to like Pump.fun and other. It could be more desirable for creators. But anyways, yeah.
All right, guys. That's all we got for you guys this week. We'll see you guys on the trade floors. Peace.